In this brief product overview, we'll cover Infrascale's Disaster Recovery as a Service solution available from PAX 8. This offering includes an appliance that is sent to your location or wherever your devices reside and supports both physical and virtual systems. We'll work with you to size the appliance for your specific project or client needs. The contents of the appliance can be replicated to the cloud or kept in a local installation. Starting at the dashboard, we'll see important information regarding the environment. This information can be customized to suit your needs, so you have the most important information available to you at a glance. The product supports multiple operating systems, as you can see here: Linux, Sun, Windows, Mac, FreeBSD, AIX, and so on. It also includes integration with Hyper-VMware. Hyper-V does require some configuration at the host level, but otherwise it's agentless on the clients. Similarly with VMware, you simply need to establish a connection to your vCenter machine and your VMs will be available for registration. You can unregister a VM at any time if you don't want to include it in the backup set. For restoration and recovery, Infrascale provides exceptional capabilities. We can restore an individual VM back to its respective hypervisor. An important distinction here is that we can choose a snapshot from any point in time without having to hydrate the data. With competitors' products, we'd only have the most recent backup to choose from to immediately restore. Any older snapshots and we'd have to hydrate the data, and that can take hours. Here, we'll select a point in time in the past and create a new virtual machine from that image. We have options to configure the data store, the resource pool, as well as the disk layout. Specify the new VM's name. What to do when the VM is restored? Power it on, connect it to the network. Though connecting it to the network might not be advisable if you have certain applications that depend on network details for the sake of licensing. Alternatively, we can browse and restore any point in time on the VM. Again, not available in competitors' products to choose information from the past without having to hydrate the data. The VM will be mounted and prepared by the appliance, so we can browse the target file system. Here, you'll see that we have the ability to restore to an alternate client, relocate to a specific path, and of course, browse specific file partitions on the system. We can download individual files directly onto the system, or again, specify them to be restored on a specific target. In the Edit tab, we can set specifics around the backups. High-level information here, notifications, job retention. On-premise, this is the uploadable appliance retention rates, or off-site retention rates, which is in the cloud. These can be set individually per machine, which allows flexibility of scheduling and other backup parameters. You have the ability to plug in a USB 3.0 drive to the back of the appliance. This allows you to synchronize any backups that are run on the appliance to the removable disk. Alternatively, you can take an existing job and import it directly to the external disk. Replication. We leverage 256-bit AES encryption for replicating the data to the cloud. For bandwidth management, you have the ability to throttle bandwidth as needed, or to schedule when to or not to do backups. Deduplication is also performed on the appliance, and is done 2 to 10 times depending on the dataset. A little more information on that. The appliance performs a bi-level deduplication and then does a global deduplication before it's synced to the cloud. This takes the aggregate data via global block map, and this dictates what's replicated to the cloud without having to transfer redundant bits over the wire. Let's take a closer look at replication. The Infrascale cloud costs are included in your pricing, but you can choose your own cloud, such as Azure, AWS, or Google. Google will work out of the box, but Azure and AWS do require some upfront configuration. They're better suited for custom deployments. Pax8 will work with you during the sizing and scoping exercise to map out your particular needs. The appliance itself is self-contained. It has a built-in mail exchanger, hypervisor, and includes the deduplication and acceleration systems along with the backup utilities. Byte-level replication is implemented to effectively utilize bandwidth. While this does consume some CPU cycles and might impact the deduplication process, the actual impact is negligible, but still it's worth noting. In the Settings tab, we do have numerous options we can configure. System alerts, SNMP details for monitoring purposes, integration with Active Directory for mass deployments. If you were to go with cloud replication, we would utilize this UUID to establish that replication process. For physical systems, we have the bare metal recovery image. This is what you'd utilize if you had a physical system that needed to be restored. We take the backup that you specify and apply it to that bare metal chassis. And of course, support is available 24/7 if you need it. This has been a high-level overview of Infrascale's disaster recovery as a service solution available from Pax8. Thanks for listening.